Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will discuss acid-base balance, respiratory and metabolic acidosis and alkalosis, and also we will study the renal function to maintain acid or base inside living organism. So, the acid-base balance is the keeping pH of our body fluids at appropriate level or hydrogen ion concentration. What is the importance of acid-base balance? Acid-base balance or pH is important to maintain the proper shape of the proteins and enzymes and their functioning. Optimum pH is necessary for normal structure and function of the proteins and other components inside living organism. And the pH is important to perform our body to perform our body different chemical reactions. Here we have shown pH of some body fluids like blood, the pH is 7.4, in milk it is 7.1, in saliva it is 6.8, in urine 6, gastric juices 1 to 2 pH, pancreatic juices are alkaline, they have pH of 8, similarly cell or cytoplasm have pH of 7 to 7.4 and tears have 7.2. What are the sources of hydrogen ions? The breakdown of the proteins releases phosphoric acid in extracellular fluid. So breakdown of the proteins is the first source. Anaerobic respiration produces lactic acid. Fat metabolism yields ketone bodies or keto acids, which are the source of hydrogen ion. And transport of carbon dioxide in blood as bicarbonate ion releases hydrogen ion. So these are the sources of the hydrogen ion in our body. Hydrogen ion regulation or acid-base regulation. We have three different systems in our body. First one is the chemical buffer system or physiological control of acid base. Second one is the respiratory control and third is the renal control. So chemical buffer system occurs in blood. It acts within seconds and tie up the acid base in our body. Respiratory control is present in our brain. It acts within 1 to 3 minutes and eliminates acids in the form of carbon dioxide. Third is the renal or kidney mechanism. It acts within hours or days and eliminates acid and base from our body. So these three systems acts to maintain acid-base balance. What is the abnormal condition in our body? When pH is lower down, then acidosis or acidemia occur, like blood pH lower than 7.35, so acidemia will occur, and alkalosis or alkalemia. During this case, the blood pH rises above 7.45. So within the range of 7.35 to 7.45 is the normal condition of our blood. Chemical buffer system. So it is the first buffer system that maintains acid-base balance. In our body, three major buffer systems perform, like protein buffer system, carbonic acid and bicarbonate buffer system, and phosphate buffer system. So this system tie up the acid base within seconds and eliminates or the first one is the protein buffer system. It is the most abundant in intracellular fluids and blood plasma, like hemoglobin in RBCs, albumin in blood plasma. Free carboxylic group and amino groups are involved in buffer action. Like here we have shown an amino acid with amino and carboxylic group. So due to these amino and carboxylic group, they act as buffer. When hydrogen ion concentration decreases, when hydrogen ion concentration increases, like acidic condition, then amino group becomes ammonium ion and it eliminates hydrogen ion. Similarly, if hydroxyl ion concentration increases or in basic condition, hydrogen ion is lowered down, then the carboxylic group becomes bicarbonate ion and it releases hydrogen ion in the form of water. So in this way, the basic condition In case of basic condition, this carboxylic acid group function and it becomes carbonate ion. In this way it copes this condition. Carbonic acid bicarbonate buffer system. It is also regulated in respiratory system. Here we have shown the equilibrium condition in which carbonic acid and bicarbonate ion occurs. During basic condition or when hydroxyl ion increases, the system will shift towards right direction and it is converted into water. This hydroxyl ion reacts with hydrogen to produce water, and bicarbonate ion, which is the conjugate base of carbonic acid. And when acidic condition occurs or more hydrogen ion occurs, then this reaction will shift towards left side and more carbonic acid will be produced, and it compensates this high level of hydrogen ion concentration. Next is the phosphate buffer system. During phosphate buffer system, here we have a reaction of phosphate buffer system. We have given an example like here we have H2PO4 minus and it is converted into HPO4 minus 2 with hydrogen ion, release of hydrogen ion. If this reaction is at equilibrium, when base is added or hydroxyl ion increases in our body, the reaction will shift towards right direction and the hydroxyl ion reacts with hydrogen ion, produces water and phosphate ion. Similarly, when acidic condition increases, like hydrogen ion increases, then the system will shift towards left side and more phosphate or phosphoric acid is formed. So it is occurring mostly in extracellular fluids. Here we have a use of Anderson-Hazel-Balch equation making buffer of desired pH. So we can here is the derivation of Anderson-Hazel-Balch equation, and we have shown in our most of the videos that how we can use this equation to make buffer of our desired pH. So if here is the derivation, so you can use this derivation. So finally we will have an equation of pH pH is equal to pKa plus log of conjugate base of an acid and its acid. So we can say that it is the pH is equal to pK plus log of salt by acid. Let's suppose we have carbonic acid which is converted into bicarbonate and hydrogen ion. So the pK, we can measure the pH is equal to pK plus log of bicarbonate and bicarbonic acid. So if we have to make a carbonic acid buffer of desired pH, then we can use pH. We have to required so value of pH, pKa of that acid, and then we will take this log when this log is shifted towards this side, it will be anti-log of, and then we get ratio of these two, salt and acid ratio, and by using the ratio of salt and acid we can make a buffer of our desired pH. So by taking anti-log we will get the value for ratio of salt and acid, and we have to keep in mind that we can select a type of buffer with pH in the range of plus minus 1 of pK value. So we can each acid or base have its pK value, so we can use the pH of plus 1 or minus 1 relative to this pK value. So if there is more difference than 1, then we cannot choose that buffer to make that kind of pH. Second is the respiratory acid base balance or respiratory acidosis and alkalosis. So normal carbon dioxide pressure or pressure of carbon dioxide in blood is 35 to 45 millimeter of mercury. So we if there is a respiratory alkalosis, it means that the normal pressure of carbon dioxide, which is 35 to 45 millimeter of mercury, is less So when the pressure of carbon dioxide is less than 35 to 45 millimeter of mercury, then the condition will be respiratory alkalosis. If the normal pressure of 35 to 45 millimeter of mercury inside our body increases than 45 millimeter of mercury, then respiratory acidosis will occur, because carbon dioxide is acidic and it produces more hydrogen ions. So the respiratory acidosis will occur. So here we have shown that higher than the 45 millimeter of mercury, so blood pressure of carbon dioxide increases, and in this case alkalosis, blood pressure decreases. How carbon dioxide is transported in our body? Through hemoglobin bound form, diffusion of carbon dioxide in RBCs, and in the form of carbonic acid. So these three mechanisms are involved for the transportation of carbon dioxide, so we should keep in mind. When chemical buffer system or physiological buffer system fails to compensate acid-base balance, then respiratory system acts. How respiratory system acts? It acts by hyperventilation or hypoventilation. Hyperventilation, when we fast breathing occurs, so we exhale more carbon dioxide. During fast breathing, we exhale more carbon dioxide, and during hypoventilation, it is slow breathing. So during slow breathing, we exhale less carbon dioxide from our body. Okay, so hyperventilation causes more exhale of carbon dioxide from our body, and hypoventilation restore our carbon dioxide in our body. So lung eliminates carbonic acid in the form of carbon dioxide. So these two conditions we have to study: respiratory acidosis and alkalosis. What is respiratory acidosis? It is the condition when failure of respiratory system to balance pH occurs. Person breathes shallowly, so blood pressure of carbon dioxide increases. Hampered gas exchange due to pneumonia, cystic fibrosis, or emphysema. So during these conditions, respiratory acidosis also occur. And respiratory alkalosis is the blood pressure of carbon dioxide decreases due to hyperventilation, due to more breathing, fast breathing. Anxiety or high altitude causes these kind of conditions. Metabolic acidosis and alkalosis. During metabolic acidosis, low pH of the body or blood occur, and it is due to bicarbonate ion level below normal in blood, due to ingestion of too much alcohol, excessive loss of bicarbonate ion by diarrhea, loss of bicarbonate ion by kidney dysfunction, accumulation of lactic acid by shock or injury, breakdown of the proteins by starvation, and ketosis in diabetes. So these are the conditions which causes metabolic acidosis. Previously we studied that what is respiratory, and here we have studied what is metabolic acidosis and alkalosis. So these conditions causes metabolic acidosis. All these kind of conditions causes metabolic acidosis. Metabolic alkalosis, it is the high blood pH level. So high blood pH level because of vomiting of acid contents of the stomach, excessive intake of the antacids, bases or alkalides. When we take more alkalides, our body will become alkalemia occur in our body. And constipation, reabsorption of bicarbonate ion causes metabolic alkalosis. Metabolic acidosis and alkalosis is also compensated by respiratory and renal mechanism of acid-base balance if not controlled by the chemical system. So metabolic acidosis and alkalosis is also maintained by our renal system or our respiratory system, and also the buffer system. Renal acid-base balance. It works within hours or days, but correct the acid-base balance by eliminating the chemicals outside our body. So it is the ultimate organ is the kidney for acid-base balance. Excretion of bicarbonate resulting an increase in hydrogen ion concentration, whereas reabsorption of bicarbonate ion results as loss of hydrogen ion. It eliminates metabolic acids such as lactic acid, ketones, and phosphoric acid from our body. Here we have shown an example of renal acid-base balance when acidosis occur. So during acidemia, how this renal system works. So during Acidosis, here we have shown that this lining is the kidney cells. So during acidosis, when more carbon dioxide occurs in our body, with the help of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, carbon dioxide and water makes carbonic acid. This carbonic acid further releases hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. Hydrogen ion will be will become outside due to primary active transport. So it is due to the ATP dependent ion channels of the hydrogen ion. So hydrogen ion here inside the urine, where urine passes, it phosphoric acid is converted to H2PO4 minus, and this will be excreted in urine. So this hydrogen ion will be excreted in this form. Whereas bicarbonate ion will be exported outside towards the bloodstream, and it will occur with the help of chloride ion. So chloride ion comes inside, whereas bicarbonate ion comes outside. So this is an example of secondary active transport. We have studied this kind of transportation in our previous video of electron transport channels, ion transport channels, and it will again comes outside through facilitated diffusion. And this bicarbonate ion in blood reacts with hydrogen ion to produce carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid, when goes to lungs, it the it with the help of carbonic anhydrase, again it will be converted into carbon dioxide and water, where carbon dioxide is excreted through lungs alveoli, and then carbon dioxide is exhaled out from our body. In this way, this whole system, renal system, acts in case of acidosis. So here we have shown in our video all types of acid-base balance, and so this is our last video of this chapter, and after this we have other carbohydrates, proteins or lipids chapter. So today we have completed our this body fluids chapter and different mechanisms involved in our body to maintain the homeostasis. So thanks for watching my video.